Hey, this is RJ May, and you're watching Mr. Mario 2011.
Hey, so what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and if I look a little terrible right now, it is because it is, I'm not even kidding you all, it is almost 3 in the morning right now. It is 2:54 in the morning exactly on September 6th today. Now, you might be asking, why am I making a video at about 3 in the morning? Well, this is pretty much what happened. I've been gone for the past 12 hours or so because I actually went out of town. I have the ticket stub right here and everything. I went to a concert. It was actually pretty awesome. First one I've gone to in over a year. But I got to see 1975, who else was it? Weezer, don't know why I forgot that, and Arctic Monkeys. And they were all awesome. All phenomenal artists live. Weezer was definitely my favorite live, though, just because the performance was amazing. I love them. And the atmosphere and everything. But aside from that, that's not what this video is about. Just throwing that out there. But I came back and I was full of energy the entire drive back and everything with a few friends of mine. And I know I'm going to be crashing later, but I was like, you know, while I still have this energy, I want to just go ahead and knock out the second part of this Q&A video. In case you don't know, recently I hit 10,000 subscribers. Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate it. And I decided to do a 10,000 subscriber Q&A video where you ask questions, I answer them. I did 2 parts, though. This is my second part. This is the last part I'm doing. Reason being is that, first off, I wanted to give an allocated amount of time for people to ask their questions, so I waited a week. I did part 1. And then I said, if you have any more questions you want to submit, this is your last chance for the Q&A part 2. And Q&A part 2, this is going to be the last part of it. And the reason being is just because there are a lot of questions, and I'm answering most, if not all of them. And you all, I just want to say, you all were awesome. You all brought in some awesome questions. Everything from like basic stuff to stuff that was like, huh, you know, I'm really happy that my subscribers ask questions like this. So you all are going to see, actually, I will be honest, I might be a little bit biased saying this, but the questions I was holding off for the second Q&A are actually more of my favorite ones. There's either quick ones or there's ones that are just like, huh, this has nothing to do with anything on my channel, and I kind of like it. So, I like that people are interested in things like that, and I'm going to go into it. But anyways, again, thank you very much for the 10,000 subscribers. Let's go ahead, get into this Q&A right here. Also, I'm wearing this hat. If you hear anything in the background, it's because of my really huge AC, you know, unit right there. And I'm not going to hide this from you all. I'm wearing this hat because I have atrocious hat hair right now due to the fact that I was out for 12 hours wearing a hat. I had my Fox hat, and I would be wearing it, but my friend's actually borrowing it right now because she is fixing a hole that's in the back of it that I've had for the longest time, but I just need to get fixed. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into this Q&A. So, first off, can you make more Xbox 360 console mods? Well, there's going to be another question that's going to follow this up pretty shortly, but I'll say this, 360, I've covered many things on it. When it comes to hard mods, so like JTAGs and RGHs, things like that, I haven't done any, you know, full exploit videos because there are plenty out there that, in my opinion, are better than mine. There's other guides out there available. I don't take my systems online either. Most of the time just because I look at it as kind of a scumbag thing to do because most people just want to troll on, like, I don't know, like, for example, I find trolling on COD, like Call of Duty, to get your reset glitch hack system online or your JTAG online, in my opinion, is one of the biggest wastes of money you could do as a gamer modder, I guess, because you put the money or time or both into this hard modded system, and then you pay for, you know, whatever stealth service you want to just to change your gamer tag. I don't know. That's my thought on it. I don't know what your thoughts are, but when it comes to this, you listen, if something comes out on the 360, I'll cover it. But right now, I feel like I've tapped it out pretty clean. Occasionally, I do throw up a 360 modding video if I think of something, but aside from that, I mean, the long short answer of it is this is not 2011, 2012, where new stuff was just coming out like that almost, you know, every few months. Nothing's come out in a while. I mean, you could even look at the retail side of things. There's really no new games coming out either. What, like, there's some sports games and some multiplayer games. That's about it. No killer app on 360 right now is coming out anytime soon. So 360 is kind of a dying platform, and it really shows. And it's not because I'm not supporting it, it's just because there's nothing available on it right now, which there probably won't be for a while. What is your favorite Halo game? With this, you know, I would have said, years ago I would have said Halo 3. If you asked me like a year ago, I would have said Halo 4. But I really have to say it's kind of tied. Now, the reason why I'm not saying any of the other ones, a lot of people say Halo 1. I've played Halo 1 to death. I think it's very good, but it gets boring for me after a bit. Halo 2, I didn't like the campaign on it at all, I'll be honest. And I completely missed out on the multiplayer aspect of it because I didn't have Xbox Live until 2007, when I got my 360. When it comes to Halo 3, I have to say, well, Halo 3 and Halo 4. Halo 4, actually, I don't know, I feel like the campaign is almost tied for me now between Halo 3 and 4. And multiplayer, I like more on 4, but Halo 3 has more of a classic feel to it. It's more like, it's more of a nostalgic feel, kind of like when you compare Halo 2 and 3, and people will say, oh, well, you had to be there to play Halo 2. It's kind of like that with me in Halo 3. It's like, well, you know, that was my starting into the online franchise for Halo, you know. Halo 3, that's where it's at for me, so it's right there between the two. If you're looking at it, gameplay mechanics, things like that, Halo 4 is my favorite. If you're looking at it, you know, for a classic, you know, something that's well balanced, everything like that, I'm gonna have to say Halo 3, so it's tied between those two. Do you think you could make your channel more one direction, such as just mod news or game news? I love you and your videos so much, thank you. I would just like to know when a video is mod based or not. Well, you know, I'll put it like this. Thank you for the kind compliment and everything, but no, I'm never going to do only one direction on my channel. I feel like I'm already kind of doing that. I do quite a lot of gaming videos because I enjoy gaming. That's the content I like to produce. However, I will say this, I don't clickbait my videos at all. My videos are very transparent, you know, thumbnail and title-wise. So, for example, if you click on this video, there's no way you're going to click on this thinking that this is a video about flashing your Xbox or, you know, flashing a new KV to your Xbox, like your JTAG or something like that. I don't do anything like that. I know several scumbag YouTubers that clickbait and they're deceptive with their tactics on it, but no. If you read my title, if you look at my thumbnail, you know that's what it's going to be. And the reason why I don't want to take it just one direction is because, well, first off, some people have asked, can you only do modding stuff? Well, I'll put it like this. If I only did modding stuff, do you know how often you guys would get videos from me? Maybe one video every 6 months. I enjoy making content, and the people I make content for, they enjoy watching it at the same time. So it's a two-way street for me. And for people who want one specific type of content, I label my content very clearly as is. What you see is what you get. That's essentially what I'm saying. So if you don't want to watch my modding stuff, you don't watch it. If you do want to watch only my modding stuff, you wait until there's some mod videos coming out. So that's what I have to say on the topic. Do you play FIFA? No, never played it actually. Well, no, I lied. I played it one time on a computer with my cousins. So I played it for like 30 minutes in my life, but that's about it. Now here's a bunch of questions that are going to be kind of rapid fire because they're actually from one user, but I decided to answer all of them, although I think a few of them might require some detail. What's your favorite cereal? Honey Bunches of Oats. That stuff is delicious. I love it. Like, literally when they say every single time you have a bowl, like it tastes like a new bowl of cereal, it does. It's awesome. It's been my favorite cereal for years. Ever since I was in like elementary school. I don't know, and I mean, it's healthy too, so nothing bad about it. Now they're throwing in like all the other, you know, little spin-offs and, you know, additions and all that. I think it's still delicious. That's my favorite. Who's your favorite character from Lost? I have to say Locke. It's either Locke or, no, Mr. Echo. Mr. Echo, I love that guy. He was awesome. I was so disappointed when he was off the show, but yeah, that's my favorite character from Lost. Have you seen Supernatural? No, I haven't, but I'm pretty sure it's on my Netflix queue, and if it's not on Netflix, I'm pretty sure it's on a list I have somewhere that says, watch these shows. What's your favorite Silent Hill? I have to say, it's definitely between Silent Hill 1 and 2. Silent Hill 1, game's terrifying, I love it, great artifact from my childhood. In fact, the game was so scary, I sold it. And then I would have gone back and slapped the hell out of my 9-year-old self because that game went up in value. And I don't even care about the value of the game. It's just I sold a game that I really wanted to play later on. So I was actually finally reunited with the game and the guide, which made me very happy. I did have to pay a little bit for them at the time, but totally worth it. And Silent Hill 2 is just a absolutely mind-blowing and intriguing experience on its own, which I would highly recommend. If you are a survival horror or psychological horror gamer and you've not played Silent Hill 2, you need to play Silent Hill 2. Thoughts on Attack on Titan? I'm not gonna make people happy with this. I got about 5 episodes in, I said, I can't deal with this. I just stopped watching. And it's not because of, like, the death or, you know, what happens with the characters or anything. No, it's just, I was bored. I'll be honest. I didn't really see much of an appeal to it. First episode, I was like, I gotta watch the next one. Second episode, I'm like, okay, this is a good stopping point. And then I get like 3 or 4 more episodes in, and I'm just sitting there like, what is the point to this? I'm done. I'm not really entertained at this point. For me, normally with an anime, I have to get, if I'm not pulled in by 5 or 6 episodes, I stop watching. That's it. That is like my limit, I've noticed. And for some people that say, oh, well, that's not enough episodes, listen, 5 episodes, that's about 2.5 hours of my time. That's about me going to watch, like, Inception in the theater and watching the entire movie and then walking out being all like, huh, well, that was stupid, I want my money back. It's like, no, that's not really how it happened. You gave the movie a fair chance. You watched the whole thing. That's the thing with me. I feel like, you know, by 5 or 6 episodes in, you should be able to gauge the show. Especially since many animes, you know, are 12, 13 episodes. Some are double. I know Attack on Titan's like 20-something. So, those are my thoughts on Attack on Titan. I know they're not popular, and a lot of my friends wanted me to like the show, but I didn't. Maybe one day I'll try it again, but I just didn't like it that much. Family Guy versus South Park. As much as I like both shows, I definitely have to say South Park. South Park, I started watching first, has a special place in my childhood heart and my adult heart. But also, it's just the way they're able to stay relevant and fresh all these years. While it's like Family Guy, I still laugh at the new episodes and the old episodes. However, it gets so much flack. And then there's even times where I'm like, I'm not sure why I'm watching this show, but it makes me laugh. But, you know, South Park, it's even my parents have acknowledged that they believe it is a smart show in its own immature way, I guess you could say. So, South Park on that one, if I had to choose only one. Favorite CreepyPasta. You know, I didn't really read too many creepypastas, but probably any of the no, I was gonna say Zelda ones, but no, I have to say probably the Pokemon Black creepypasta. That's probably my favorite one. Of course, it's a gaming one. Favorite anime series, I have to say probably Elfen Lied. I had actually asked, I've been asked this in a previous Q&A before, and somebody was assuming it was Sword Art Online. I was saying no, actually for the longest time it was .hack sign. Then I watched Elfen Lied, and it was just, I love how twisted and crazy and beautiful it all is at once. And Sword Art is like right up there, but it's like a step down, just like one step down from Elfen Lied. That's it. I love my Sword Art still, but Elfen Lied, that takes the cake for me. By the way, I've read through most of the manga as well. I think I'm like on the very last manga or something. I think the anime complements it very well. Chocolate Oreos versus vanilla Oreos. Well, I'll be honest, I'm not like a big fan of, you know, chocolate on chocolate when it comes to everything. But at the same time, if it's Oreos, who's gonna choose vanilla? So, no, if I'm picking Oreos, I'm gonna go chocolate. Are you Greek? No, I am not. Favorite pie flavor? Have to say homemade apple pie. That is some awesome stuff. If it's done right. Because you can make a homemade apple pie and have it taste terrible. But as long as it's good, I'll like it. Have you been to Alaska? No, I have not. I don't know if I'd go there, actually. I'd probably go there. What am I saying? Best Dead Rising game. Well, I have to say, I really haven't played too much of the Dead Rising series. I played the first Dead Rising a few times over. Dead Rising 2, I really didn't get too into. Dead Rising 3, I'm only maybe like a fourth, a third of the way into it. I have to say, if you know how to play the first Dead Rising, that's probably my favorite. But you have to know how to play it, like how to get all the other stuff and everything. Once you become a level 50, you feel like a god. It's awesome. Halo versus Gears of War. Well, this is easy. It's Halo for me. Gears of War, I mean, it's cool. But Gears of War 1 sucked. Gears 2, Gears 3 I enjoyed. Well, Gears 2 is my favorite. I'm talking about storyline and all that, because that's more what I come to it for. Gears 3 had way too much filler, because it was supposed to be the last one, and that last Gears of War that came out doesn't even get a mention from me. That's how bad it is. I'm not even saying the name of it. Favorite zombie movie? I have to say probably 28 Weeks Later. It's been a while since I've seen the 28 series, because there's 28 Days, 28 Weeks Later, but I remember I really enjoyed 28 Weeks Later, immensely over 28 Days Later. But then again, I was also younger when I was watching them. I was probably like 12, 13, something like that, so I probably have to go back and rewatch them, see what my opinion is of them now, but That's still one of my favorite zombie movies. Zombieland is definitely up there as well, too. Really good one. But I guess for a serious one, I guess if you're going to divide it up, if we're going to be fair, comedy would be Zombieland, but a serious one would probably be 28 Weeks Later. Can I be your friend on Xbox? Well, I don't really have an issue with this. In fact, I've actually gotten quite a few questions about it. However, my name is Mr. Mario 2011 on there. I have it on my channel in the info section. I have it, you know, on my Xbox, of course. But I say on there, if you're going to message me or if you're going to send a friend request on there, please say who you are. Just send a message because I decline all friend requests. I also hold, you know, the last value, opinion, whatever it is. I have the final word on who's going to make it onto my friends list or not. So there's that. My only other things are, don't contact me for tech support on there. If you're only contacting me because you're having an issue with the system you need figured out, I don't do Xbox for tech support. I don't get on my Xbox for tech support. I'll be straight up with that. You can call me a douche, you can call me arrogant, whatever it is. I don't believe I am, but if you want to believe that, that's fine. Reason being is that when I get on my Xbox, I want to relax, I want to play some games. I don't really want to do, you know, Dell tech support or anything like that. Also, don't spam me with request messages, whatever it is. Just kind of an annoying thing. I mean, some people might think, oh, if I'm only one person, it's not going to make that big of a deal. Trust me, there's about 200 other people that are going to try and do the same thing. So it kind of starts piling up. But if you want to go ahead and send a friend request, normally I don't have an issue with it. Can you solve a Rubik's Cube? I don't want to say no to this question, but the thing is, I've never tried to actually solve a Rubik's Cube. So maybe. That's my answer. When did you start playing video games? Well, when I started, I was doing like the educational games on my parents' computers and everything, so that was before my memories even started forming. Maybe at like age 2 or something, but when I actually started playing like games, like real games, I didn't even really know how to play a game, but I was 8 years old when I started playing games. Do you ever think of playing with your subs? Well, there's actually another question that's going to tie into this later on that I was asked, but normally, like sometimes I'll play on a, you know, here and there basis. I really haven't set up anything directly because the problem with me is, this is my own issue, I do mostly single player games. And normally if I do a multiplayer game, it's for a little bit, and it's normally, you know, I'm going to contact someone outside of Xbox Live or Steam or whatever it is. We'll message each other, we'll text each other, we'll call each other, whatever it is, be like, hey, you're free at this time, you want to get on this game. So by the time I do get on whatever platform I'm on, I am already in a full dedicated party. So it depends. I'm not against the idea at all, but I just need to look into it and also getting the time to do it as well too. Because I know some people recommended live streaming. The thing is, you know, with, let's say this Q&A, for example, the nice thing about this is I can come back and keep doing this. Like, what I'm going to do all the audio video here. I'm going to sleep, wake up later, edit it, render it, all that good stuff, so I could do it in chunks. If I do a 3-hour live stream, that's 3 hours of my day I have to make sure are dedicated to that live stream. So, I'm not against the idea, but yes, I have thought of it before. What are your thoughts on the new Call of Duty? Honestly, it looks hilarious. That's about it. Have you ever tried to get into Counter-Strike, or do you play it? Yeah, actually I did get really into Counter-Strike at one point. When I was younger, when I was visiting my cousins actually in Jordan, we played a lot of Counter-Strike there. This is when I was in like elementary school, and I don't even know if it was 1.6 to be honest. We would always go down to the LAN centers, play for like an hour or two, and just, you know, be yelling at each other over Counter-Strike, all that fun stuff. I definitely enjoyed it, but was I pro level at it? Definitely not. It's a fun game. I'm just not super into it. Occasionally, maybe I hop on like CSGO, play with some bots or something like that. But I don't have anything against it. I think it's a very solid, well-crafted game that, you know, holds its age and holds its ground. But I just don't play it regularly. What are your favorite songs/artists? Well, I mean, when it comes to songs, I don't really want to pick out individual things, so I'll go with more of the artists on this. But I listen to pretty much every type of genre you could think of. Anything from, you know, classical to, of course, electronic music, rap, anything like that. So I have to say, out of the stuff I really listen to, when it comes to rap, I've been listening to a lot of the classic stuff, as I said in my previous commentary. So, you know, a lot of Tupac, that's mostly been in my rotation. However, I've also been listening to, like, Childish Gambino, Logic, other people. When it comes to rock, you know, metal, whatever it is, Tool's my all-time favorite artist. They've been my favorite since I was like 12 years old. I'm 21 now. They're still my favorite. So, of course, anything affiliated with them, so that'd be, you know, Pussifer, Perfect Circle, Ashes Divide, anything like that. System of a Down, I was really into for the longest time as well. Deftones, Incubus, just... I really like progressive metal. That's my thing there. Alright, so the reason why it's now daylight outside and I'm wearing a different shirt and all that is because while I was filming during that last question, my camera died, and instead of charging it and all that, I was like, you know what, it's like 3:30 in the morning now, I'm just going to set it to charge overnight and go to sleep. Which is fine because I was going to do a cut in there anyways, but it all works out. But continuing off that question, the last thing I was going to talk about was, when it comes to electronic dance music, dubstep, anything like that, I've seen Skrillex live. He was honestly best performer, in my opinion. As I said, he probably has to be my favorite when it comes to EDM, specifically dubstep, but as I said, Tool is like my #1 like artist of all time. Beats out any other genre. But Skrillex has put on the best concert I've ever seen, hands down. I've also seen Flux live. Who else is there? Too Fresh, Funtcase, Heroes and Villains. I saw them live as well too. So I've seen a few EDM acts live, but I like all those guys and this to that. It's just the thing is with the EDM, there's so many, because there's a lot of basement producers out there, so there's people coming out all the time, and I like a large majority of it, but there's so many people to keep track of. But, you know, I still listen to dubstep, I listen to trap, you know, all that good stuff, even just regular techno, like Daft Punk, things like that. So, yeah, a lot of music. Can you do Let's Play videos? Well, here's the thing, I've actually done Let's Play videos, and I'm not against them, but the thing is nobody watches them. Specifically on this channel, and I understand, it's because this really isn't a Let's Play channel, and I don't want it to be. Occasionally I will do some videos like that though, but I like doing them, but at the same time I don't. One, because as I said, it's kind of like live streaming, where let's say you're going to do 2 or 3 hours of a Let's Play, excuse me, that is 2 or 3 hours where you have to stay dedicated to that Let's Play. They're quite easy to make, though, so it's quite an easy thing to set up and all that. Don't let anybody ever tell you that making a Let's Play is hard. No, making Let's Plays is one of the easiest things ever. The thing is, there's not really much of an audience for them, and I would rather give my audience videos that they want to watch, and of course, you know, videos that people are going to view overall, because that's kind of the point of YouTube. I don't consider myself a view whore, but when you upload a video publicly, what are you doing? You're wanting to get views on it. Like, literally, if I took this camera and I was sitting on my toilet and I was talking about some random topic, but I was filming the ground the whole time while I was taking a dump, it would get more views than most of my Let's Plays. I'm saying most because, like, the PT one did pretty good, but, you know, I didn't keep continuing it. I wasn't dragging it out or anything like that. It was just, you know, like a 1-week thing. That was it. So, I'm not against them, but I just don't do them that much because really not that many people like them. There's just not an audience for them on this channel. And even I myself personally, I understand the sentiment behind it. I actually don't watch too many Let's Plays. If I watch a Let's Play, it's from a game I've either played through or I really like the commentator or both. Now, like, here's an example. This is one reason why I really don't watch Let's Plays. A good friend of mine on here, she had played through, like, Walking Dead, excuse me, Season 2, Episode 1, and she did the entire thing on live stream, and she told me to watch it. She also, I think she might have asked me to even, like, come in while she was live streaming, and I said no, and I'm just like, listen, it's not that I don't want to watch you, it's that I don't want to watch the game, because I'm going to play it for myself. I don't really want to watch somebody play it before I do, so if I do that, it's going to be spoiled for myself. I don't really want to watch a game I already plan on playing. How do you get music in your videos? Do you have to pay for them, or do the artists give you rights to their music? Well, I just want to say one thing here. This is pretty common knowledge, but just because you buy an album or a song off iTunes or whatever, doesn't mean that that legally gives you the right to completely own it and everything. But when it comes to that, no. Mostly, I find music, you know, either through YouTube, SoundCloud, my favorite artists as well, too. They normally post up new songs and everything. And I make sure, normally I try and look around, and if they are okay with people using the music in their videos, I will do it. But also, I try and make sure my music does not register anything or flag anything within the Content ID system. If it is a smaller artist, I will ask them. Like, if they're accessible, I will ask them, and they will accept, hopefully. I haven't had an artist that said no. But, you know, many artists, they just have... There's many artists that they don't care if you use their music in monetized videos. They put it out there willingly. They don't throw it into Content ID. They want people to use it. But, you know, they have so many people hitting them up where it's almost impossible to talk to them. So, Yeah, sometimes you can get a hold of them, sometimes you can't. And then there are a few artists, for example, I'll give plugs to these two. Soul Slaveocracy, this person I know online up in Canada. I used to play with him a few times when some of my friends, like in early high school, were in a clan with him. And Elliot Fox, which actually consists of it's a duo, and one of my friends in there, it's another guy I know. They're locally, though. They're about like an hour away from here. I use their music a ton because not only I know them, I want to support them, but also, I mean, that's really it. I know them, I want to support them, they have given me full permission, they're just like, yeah, you know, we appreciate you using our music and all, and I even told them, I said, you know, I will use your music, and I will, you know, promote the hell out of you, if I can. I'll drop your links down below, everything like that, and people download their music. People like them. That's new audience engagement. If they make good music, and they hear it in a video they want to watch, people might go out and listen to it, so that's why when you see those two people specifically, Soul Slaveocracy and Elliot Fox, is because I have more of a personal relationship with them. So because of that, I want to help them out more. How do I help them out more? I use their music in more of my videos. Have you listened to MF Doom, Immortal Technique, or R.A. the Rugged Man? Yes, I've actually listened to all three of them. In fact, the person who asked me this, he was the one I knew about MF Doom, but I hadn't listened to much of his stuff, and he actually introduced me to R.A. the Rugged Man, so thank you for the recommendation on that. And then Immortal Technique, yeah, I've listened to them. All great artists, for sure. Definitely check them out. I'd highly recommend people check out MF Doom. The guy's crazy and awesome at the same time. Do you think console gaming is dying? No, I don't think so at all. PS4 just sold 10 million units. Xbox One, I mean, it's selling half that, but people are talking like 5 million is a bad thing when 5 million is 5 million. And the Wii U just got Mario Kart 8. It's going to be getting Smash Bros. And it's going to be getting a ton of other games. No, consoles are still booming. There is still always going to be... that's a good question, actually. Is there always going to be a need for consoles? Especially with how PC is becoming easier and affordable and just better to get into overall. But I feel like there is always going to be a need to get into consoles, or need, I guess you can say. I even try and, even though handhelds are kind of a different genre, I try and include them on that. Because, you know, handhelds are different pieces of proprietary hardware that you have to buy to get exclusives that aren't available on PC or other platforms, anything like that. So, no, I don't think console gaming is dying at all. It's still going up. And people complaining about the droughts with the new systems on. Listen, this is how it is every generation. I remember when the PS2 came out. I rented it. There was nothing good on the PS2 at the time when it first came out. 360, PS3, Wii. The Wii was like the only game... No, it was like the only system that had a good game out on launch. It had Twilight Princess. And then right here, you know, Wii U didn't really have anything good on launch. I mean, there were alright games, but nothing that was, you know, a killer app. And same with Xbox One and PS4. Now, I will still say, I believe the Xbox One's launch games were better. But they still weren't, you know, killer apps that you needed to have. Like, the original Xbox launched with Halo. That was awesome. Windows 7 versus Windows 8. Well, actually, this is going to be kind of a trick question for me. If I could choose between Windows 7 or Windows 8, I'm going to pick Windows 7. However, if you update it, Windows 7 or Windows 8.1, I will probably choose Windows 8.1. I've actually been using Windows 8.1 as my primary OS since about April or so, and I love the thing. Now, there are a few things that I still get into Windows 7 for. In fact, I'm actually recording the audio for this commentary within Windows 7 because the audio drivers are much more stable on my Windows 7 partition compared to Windows 8. However, when it comes to gaming, when it comes to performance, when it comes to speed, Windows 8.1 is much better in all those aspects. However, really the only things you might run into are sometimes hardware incompatibilities. If your hardware is not, you know, set up for Windows 8, then you're going to have issues. And when it comes to some software, for example, JRunner and Jungle Flasher, those don't run very well at all in Windows 8. I have errors every single time I breathe on them. So I still use Windows 7 for that stuff. However, I'm catching myself using Windows 8.1 more and more, and oh my god, especially if you have a solid-state drive, you got to have Windows 8.1. It's awesome. I actually, a friend of mine that I was interning with, he had a hard drive. He had Windows 8.1 set up on a hard drive. So I remember I go over to his house, and his apartment, technically, and I had to take a picture of something. So I was going to open up snipping tool, so I hit the Windows button, and I start typing in snip, and like nothing comes up, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, what's wrong with your computer? Why isn't... Oh, you have a hard drive. And he just sits there, he's like, yeah, Danny, I know. I know you have a solid stand. Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean anything bad by it, but it's just like, because it was me and another friend, Zach, and this guy I'm talking about is Charlie. You all have seen him, but Zach and I, we actually had Windows 8.1 set up on our solid state, so it's super fast, while this Charlie had it on a hard drive. So there was that, you know, few seconds of lag or latency or slowdown whenever you had to look up something because it had to cache it off the hard drive. But no, between those two, Windows 8.1 is awesome. But if you're trying to do real, like, solid desktop work, Windows 7 is still the more stable OS just because it's been out longer. This was a question right here that I'm really happy was asked just because, as I said, it's something so different. It's not related to gaming or anything like that. I thought it was interesting. What are your thoughts on same-sex marriages or simply the LGBT community? Well, first off, I'll say this. I am personally straight. Not gay, not bi, nothing like that. Although, I guess maybe the whole OP is a fag thing. That kind of comes into play online, whatever it is. But I know people who are gay, I know people who are bi, I know people who are lesbians. I'm all for it. You know what? If you want to be funny about it, if they want to be as miserable as people in marriages, go for it. But all joking aside, no. I think same-sex marriage, I think, is okay. I know several people who are, you know, as I said, gay, lesbian, bi, and they're normal people. They are. And if you're in love with someone, do it. Do what you want. I think that's okay. I fully support it. I don't have any issues with it or anything. And it's really not like, I guess people are saying, you know, it's going to harm, you know, the fabrication of American life and all that. Listen, I think we've dealt with a lot worse. In fact, I'm pretty sure there are more dangerous straight people than there are gay people. So I don't think we have too much to worry about. Also, I knew a family up in Canada where when they first moved up there, they were living in a neighborhood with, that was primarily gay people. And they said, you know, everyone was super nice, everyone was super friendly, and everyone was super clean too. Which, I'm not saying I wouldn't have expected it, but it just kind of surprised me because it's like, you don't really hear that comment from really any type of, you know, minority, gender, race, you know, orientation, anything like that. Like, nobody says, oh yeah, this whole race right here is really clean, or this whole orientation here. So that kind of surprised me. But no, personally, I'm all for it. And I think people who are like completely closed-minded and against it and all that, just a bit ignorant. Now let's go back to the gaming questions. Good question, though. I am thinking of buying an Xbox One. Last generation, I had a PS3. Do you think it will be able to keep up with the PS4, or do you think publishers will make more PS4 exclusives? I do think publishers will make more PS4 exclusives due to the fact that it is selling more, it is at a lower price rate. Sony seems to be treating developers very well, although Microsoft has been doing the same thing as well, just as well, if not even better. But it's the sales right there. More people have PlayStation 4s in their homes. Enough said. If you don't understand that, that means if more people have PlayStation 4s, that means potentially more sales. In addition to that, with the ESRAM or SRAM on the Xbox One, it does bring a little bit of hindrance to coding and everything, and the PS4 is more powerful. Now, I'm not bringing down the Xbox One. If it were me, I would say, you know what, I think both these systems should get the same games and everything, but I feel like if you're really wanting to go for exclusives and, you know, support, things like that, and support, I'm going to get into that, I would probably stick with the PS4 on that front. The Xbox One is still a great system, don't get me wrong, and you know, in 2 years, I might get proven wrong. I want to see all the systems succeed. I don't want to see any of the systems fail. I love my Wii U, I love my Xbox One, and I love my PS4. Nothing wrong with that. If you have one system, or all the systems, or none of the systems, that's fine. As long as you're not completely, ignorantly bashing on all of them, you know, that's fine too. But when I was talking about the support and everything, what I mean by that specifically is, last generation, the PS3 was able to lock down a few publishers by having, which I hate this, but PS3, you know, they were able to do it. They had some games where they had exclusive content, they had exclusive missions, they had an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours worth of bonus content that you won't find on any other platform. Look at Destiny, for example. Destiny, one of the biggest games to launch out here recently. It's going to be coming out in a few days here. The game is, what? PS3, PS4. We've actually found out that Bungie's pretty much been in bed with Sony during the whole development of this game. They pretty much did the Gears of War to the PS4. And what I mean by that is, a friend of mine who's really into Gears of War once told me before that the Xbox 360 was pretty much designed around Gears of War. Gears of War was supposed to be the killer app, killer franchise for the 360. This is what I heard. And what happened was, if Epic said, we need more RAM, we need more power, Microsoft would try and give it to them. Because they were saying, we need to set up the Xbox 360 for Gears of War. That's pretty much what happened with Destiny. Sony has set up the PlayStation 4 for Destiny. Bungie influenced the controller design, they influenced the console itself, and I'm saying they're in bed with Sony because they have 1 year, if I remember correctly, 1 year exclusive times DLC between the Xbox and the PlayStation versions. In addition to all of that, I'm pretty sure the PlayStation versions are still going to get locked down exclusive content compared to the Xbox version, so that's kind of why I'm getting it on PS4, not going to lie. But also, the game performs fantastically on PS4. I thought it was great. Ever consider live streaming? Well, I've done a few live streams here and there, although here's the thing I've really noticed with this channel. This channel is not the type of channel where I upload a video and it gets, you know, it immediately breaks the 300 counter, things like that. It doesn't, you know, immediately, videos don't immediately skyrocket with views. You know, within 24 hours, that's normally when I can gauge it. I think my videos get a decent amount of views for what they do. But the problem with that is, that means there's not people flocking over to my channel immediately after I upload a video. And because of that, it is kind of hard to do live streams, just because if I do a spontaneous one, sometimes people show up, sometimes they don't. If I plan one, I've actually noticed if I plan a live stream, less people show up on it. I don't know how that works. I'll give like a 24-hour notice, and less people show up than if I do one spontaneously, so I don't know what the deal is with that, but I've done live streams before, but one thing is, it's also a time commitment. As I said, this video, I can break it up into little sections. A live stream, if I'm doing a 4-hour live stream, I have to be there for 4 hours. So, it's all about time, but no, I'm not against it. I've done it before. I've considered it, for sure. First video game I played. Oh, man. I have to go back a little bit. I'm assuming if we're talking about video games, any type of educational games are out of the picture, because I played like mostly educational games up until I was actually playing some stuff, but it had to be something on the Super Nintendo. I remember there was this one Super Nintendo at a daycare I used to go to, and I used to watch the kids. Oh my god, these people were bitches. Like, I just have to say this. Story from my childhood, this has traumatized me. Not really, but no, there were these two girls that were playing like Super Mario World 3. That was it. And I'm completely deviating all this, I'll come back to it. Playing Super Mario World 3 on the Super Nintendo, and it was the Yoshi's Island one. So I'm sitting there watching. That's it. I'm sitting there watching. All I'm doing. I'm not bugging them. I'm not annoying them. I'm sitting there watching the game because the game was awesome. And these girls are like, Danny, you can't watch. You can't watch. You can't watch. I'm just sitting there still watching. After like 5 minutes, they shut off the Super Nintendo, and they're just like staring at me. I'm looking at them. They're like, okay, you gotta go. Bye, Danny. Bye, Danny. Bye, Danny. These were also the big kids. By big kids, I mean they were like at least 2 years older than me. So, what does the 4-year-old in me do? Well, I get up, and I go over to the teacher, and I start crying. And the teacher, oh my god, I'm not outing her name or anything, because I don't want to do that, but I still know who she is. But what happened was, she asked me what's wrong, and I tell her. Now, granted, I'm a 4-year-old child, okay? And she just freaks out. She's like, you're crying over a video game? That is the most stupid thing I've ever heard of! And she just walks off. And I'm like, of course, you know what I do. I still cried after that for a bit. Then I probably wiped off my tears and played with Legos or something. But, like, for real? You're gonna say that to a 4-year-old? And yes, I did cry over a video game because I was 4. So, no. Going back to this, though, it wasn't Super Mario Bros. 3 that I played. Or Super Mario World. No, that's it, Super Mario World. It wasn't that one that I played. It was either a racing game, some type of racing game on the Super Nintendo, or this Scooby-Doo game I remember my mom got me, and I was able to bring over there. So, yeah, it might not even have been one of those, but those are like some of the first games that I really remember playing. And finally, for the last question of the 10,000 subscriber Q&A video session. What console of all time did you like the most? I have to say when it comes to handhelds, I'm going to say that first because handhelds are kind of consoles, but people say no, they're handhelds. The PSP, for sure. I absolutely love the PSP. It actually taught me, you know, homebrew, modding, things like that. That's what gave me my bug to exploit systems and all that. So I really got into that. I pretty much did everything on there short of coding a firmware. but PSP for sure when it comes to handhelds. Not a Nintendo system or anything like that, not a Sega system. But when it comes to actual consoles, it is not the Xbox 360. People think it is, but the thing is, this generation's gone on for so long, and on this YouTube channel, I've really only covered the 360 because, well, how long has YouTube been around? YouTube came around in, what, like 2005, and the 360 came out in 2005, so YouTube's been around just as long, or maybe a bit longer, than the last generation of systems. But no, with my all-time favorite system, I probably have to hand it to the PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2, fantastic system, wonderful games on there, kick-ass support, awesome controller, love the hardware, the software on there, everything like that. Everyone had a PS2. Everyone had a PS2. If you didn't, I feel kind of sorry for you, but I know people that, yeah, they were only stuck with the GameCube. While the GameCube was cool, I mean, I don't know, you're missing out on some good stuff. Also, excuse me, the PS2 is what really got me into gaming. First time I ever played a game, actually, well, I just answered that. The first time I played a game that I really got into, what pushed me into gaming, was a cousin took me over to someone's house and I started playing Grand Theft Auto 3 on a PS2, and I fell in love with it immediately. So, yeah, PlayStation 2 when it comes to that. So, Sony systems for my favorite, I guess. Because people think I'm completely, you know, biased for Microsoft and all. It's like, nah. No, I just think that this generation, I feel like the 360 did better things than the PS3. I hate the PS3. But the PS3 is the only Sony system I've ever hated. I love the PS1, the PS2, the PS4, the Vita, the PSP, everything else. But the PS3, I hate it. Anyways, that is the end of this Q&A. Thank you so much, everyone, for all the support, all the love. I really appreciate it. It's awesome. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead, cut up, render this video, and probably get something in my system to eat. But, yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario, signing off. Thank you for watching, everyone.